Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Ashley, owner of Cyber Career Advancement, and today we are joined by a very special guest, none other than Thomas.
How you doing, Ashley? I appreciate you
I
having.
am, listen, I am doing so good, but I don't know if I'm doing as good as you right about now.
Thanks to you.
Listen, we're going to get into why we have you here, what's going on, but at a very high level, let me tell
Okay.
you, Thomas is one of our clients that has gone on to not only land his job in cybersecurity, but to land a job that truly works for him, a job that he truly loves and enjoys. And we're going to talk a little bit about this journey today. So, Thomas, prior to joining our company, right? What made you decide to come first off?
Well, being very transparent and personal, I can tell you that the last, mm, I'd say 5 years, maybe 6 years of my life have been very, very trying. In 2019, I was actually going through a divorce. Well, I actually finalized my divorce. It started in 2018, and everyone knows how financially burdening a divorce can be. And so, I was starting my life completely over. At that time, I had my two sons were 2 and 4, and now they're 8 and 10. But I just had my mindset that I was going to rebuild my life. And I thought it would be a lot easier than what it was. At that time, working in local government sector, um, for the local municipality here, I simply just wasn't making enough money to rebound like I thought I would be. And it became more and more pressing upon me and urgent that things just were not happening quickly enough, and I needed to make a change for my sons. And so I knew I needed to do something very different and drastic. And at this point in time, when I decided to make the transition deeper into the GRC industry, because I'd already been in it with the municipality, the local government sector. Um, I've been there 16 years, almost 17, and I walked completely away from over 16 years of a career and earn a retirement pension, literally halfway to my retirement pension, and withdrew my 401k and invested into myself and got with God, and God got with me and laid out the steps for me, and I followed suit.
Mm. First of all, let me tell you that that is an incredible journey that you went through. And it sounds like there was a lot of, challenges that propelled you to take action to get to where you are right now in this current moment, right? And so
Absolutely.
when you made the decision to leave your position that you were about to hit your pension retirement time, right? What steps did you take ultimately to go from there to like, okay, let me get some additional training in, right? Even prior to coming to our company.
Yeah, so I knew that, you know, for the longest, I really banked on my career. That was all I had, 16 years of my life. And so I knew that if I, my sons, there's no dollar amount that can, you know, it can be more advantageous as far as financially than what my sons are to me. So I knew that if I had to tap into my pension and withdraw it from the city of Dallas, I would. But my initial plan was to just simply withdraw my 401k, and I knew that it had to count. I had to make it count. And so what I did was I left my pension in, withdrew my 401k, and I began to invest in myself. The first thing I did, well, with my GRC experience already, I knew about ISO 27001. The majority of my career with the local government was in an ISO auditing. So I quickly researched reputable ISO 27001 lead auditor and internal auditor training courses, because I knew that would probably be the easiest and certification to transition into and to accomplish. And lo and behold, after about a month, I left in May, and in June I started taking the training course, and in July I obtained my ISO 27001, excuse me, internal auditor certification
Yeah.
on July the 17th, and then that was so shockingly easy for me that 13 days later I pursued my ISO 27001 lead auditor and obtained that one on July the 30th. And
Let's
so that's
go.
what I did. And there were some other trainings that I got involved with as well, specifically SOC 2 and PCI. No certifications, but just experience as far as
Okay.
training.
Okay, understood. So, like, first off, kudos to you. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm over here like, let's go, Thomas. Let's go. You really invested in yourself. You were not playing. You
No,
seriously.
I couldn't. I couldn't. My future and my more importantly, my son's future weighed on that. And that was very, very pressing upon me. And it was constantly a thought, in the back of my head, like I can't fail for the sake of my sons.
Right. And so you go, you get certified, two certifications, and they are not cheap, by the way. You go and you get certifications, you do some SOC training, you do some PCI DSS training, and then what happens? What happens with that?
Well, well, I have to back up with that as well, though, because um in the midst of that, and I probably should have segued into that later on down the way, because this was also during the time that I was actively involved, which I still am involved with the community. And so a lot of
Community.
that, what's
Sorry,
that?
just to be
Stop,
just to be cautious, what community are you referring to?
stop tribe.
Ah, Side Tribe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I was actively involved in Cyber Tribe, in which I still am now a member of the community. But saying that to say that I owe credit to the community, as far as yourself and my colleagues in the community, for encouragement, and those that were landing their roles before me. The interview sessions, the resume workshops, all of that played an intricate role, along with me putting in the independent work as well myself, with pursuing those certifications and trainings and stuff like that. But once I got all of those things meshed together in one atmosphere, I went from calling you and texting you, Ashley, my 401k is almost down to $1,000. Ashley, I'm down to $400. What am I going to do? I don't want to touch this pension. And once I got those three trainings together, and once I got that resume exactly how you said it should be, I started getting blown up probably about uh 3 to 5 times a week with job offers that I didn't even apply for. And I'm forever grateful for that, because you were always there as a confidant and as a leader and a guidance beacon for me. And I know likewise for the other colleagues in the community. And if I didn't have you there to help me keep my head on straight when I was down literally to 400 and $200, I don't think I would have made it through it. I wouldn't have even been able to have the sanity to succeed in my job interviews um, for the actual job that I got. I remember the last month before I actually got this job, I literally probably had about 10 to 12 interviews. And there's no way I could have been mentally focused and sustained had it not been from you and my colleagues in the community. And
Mm,
God, of course.
definitely God, because I always say God is working through all of us, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I don't take credit for everything that happens. Like, I feel like God puts the vision inside of me, and then I help to fulfill his work, right? Fulfill his needs. And so I remember those calls, and I remember being
Yeah.
like, "Yo, Thomas, let me do you one better. I have $10 in my bank account."
Yeah. But what got me was that, man, like how you sitting here smiling right now. I was like, how is she doing this right now when she's telling me that she has $10 in her bank account? Like, I'm sitting here sweating bullets and stressing and about to pull out my scalp because I don't have any hair to pull. And you sitting here smiling and laughing, like, you know what? It's gonna be okay though, because I know I'm gonna have $5,000 by the end of this month. I know I am. I don't know exactly how, but I know it's gonna happen. And man, I needed to hear that, and I needed not only to hear but to see it. And you still were able to, not like I was able to keep my head through my job interviews. You were able to keep your head and your passion and still pour into the community. And so, man, big shout out to God, man, because He sustained us both.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Because I always tell everybody, like, I had no intention of creating this company. I had no intention of doing it. And it wasn't until members of different boot camps started reaching out and saying, hey, I've been job hunting for a while now. I haven't gotten a single interview. Can you help me? And then more people started to come, and then more people started to come. And it was like, oh my God, how can I work a full-time job and parent and do these services? I have to listen to where God is telling me to go. And I'm so grateful to him because had that have not happened, I might not have even met you. And
Mm.
to just see the transformation that you have now, thank you, God, for the challenges.
Yeah.
I needed to be there for him so he could see
Right.
you can
Abs-
get past them.
Absolutely.
Yep. Let me ask you this. When you were inside of Cybetribe, I know you mentioned a few things. You mentioned the resume service. I remember doing your resume too. You had the mock interview sessions, you had the LinkedIn optimization sessions, the guest speaking sessions. What were some of your favorite aspects of being a member of Cybetribe?
Just the consistency, and honestly speaking, I could say this from probably for everybody in there. And I just mentioned it a moment ago, your undeniable passion. It's one thing to just be a part of a community and a part of a group, um, but it can still be empty. Even though there's many people in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was not the case, and that is not the case with South Tribe. But I would, if I had to point to something else easily, it would be the wins that were consistently, and are still consistently pouring in, because number one, if your heart is in the right place, you're going to be exceedingly happy for those that are getting the great news. You know what I mean? Even if they didn't get the job, just to see the progress in your colleagues, and that soon or later your time is coming as well. So just to see people winning and celebrating each other and knowing that your time is coming as well. But yeah, it's definitely uplifting.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too. And I would always tell people, I don't care if you don't get the job. I want you to
Mm,
celebrate that they contacted you. I want you
right.
to celebrate that you got the interview because there was once a time where you prayed for this very moment.
Hmm.
There was once a time when you were like, I'm applying to hundreds of jobs and not getting a single callback. And then the complaint would be, oh, how many interviews do I have to do?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I can say, because that's probably going to be a given, my last response as far as the wins and stuff, albeit true, that's really wasn't one of the things that really was my favorite aspects of being in the community. But another big thing with the community is that the seasoned professionals that are coming in to actually pour off into us and invest their time and their umpteen number of professional skills and share those things with us on a weekly basis at times and stuff like that. That was very, very, very much so a blessing as well. Because they didn't have to do it and you didn't have to do it either. Because, like I told you before, many times it was hard for me to see how it was happening, but you were investing into us, into this community because it was just really truly meant that much to you.
Yeah, it really did. And I remember, especially in the early stages when we were just getting started, like I remember any funds that would come in from the membership, I was taking that to go hire guest speakers. And we are so blessed to have so many people that just want to come in and see you guys win, that they're just coming now and they're actually volunteering their time. Like
Yeah,
it's such a combination, right? But I was like, I just feel like if we have certain people come in and speak with you guys from various differentiating perspectives, human resource, IT, CISOs, right? CTOs, and their different perspectives, and it can give you more of a well-rounded approach in this job hunt. Because it's so easy to just hear one voice and think that that's the only voice,
yeah,
right? But then when you can hear things from different perspectives, it can completely transform the way you job hunt. And
Hmm.
and I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember you being like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I'm like, all you gotta do is keep applying,
Yeah. Yep.
keep submitting those
Absolutely.
applications.
Yep. You're right. And I can honestly say I probably applied for easily upwards of about 300 jobs or so, I
Let's
would say. But it was well worth it. It was well worth it. The time and the energy, the dedication, the commitment, you know, it was all well worth it. Because I wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now if I didn't have that drive to push through that and to, be consistent with it and to know that I am deserving of these opportunities that I'm applying for, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So tell me, now that you have gone through leaving a company that you were with for many years,
Hmm.
making the transition to invest in yourself, to learn, to invest even to be inside of Cybe Tribe, spending your time submitting application after application after application, and then finally landing this role, right? When you think about all of it, how does it make you feel at the end of the day, knowing the journey you went through and the final result that you have right now?
I literally think about that every 14 days when I get paid. It's like it's like it's really here. I'm really in this season. I'm in this moment that I so desired. Although I had been in this industry, the GRC industry, for 12 years out of my 16-year career with the local government, I wasn't valued as an asset or financially. I wasn't being compensated financially in accordance with the value that I brought to the organization. And to see that come into fruition every 2 weeks, to wake up every morning and sit right here at this desk and work in this office, this big office right here, biggest office I ever had in my life. And to
Yeah.
hear, and to hear the benefits of the organization that I'm working with right now. There's not a single dollar or a single second or minute or an hour of the time that I invested in myself that could take me away from where I am right now. It was all well worth it. And I'll tell you this is what really caught me off guard. And I talked to you about this before, and it was nothing new to you, but it was very new to me.
Mhm.
Working in the local government sector, our pay periods would start on a Wednesday and end 2 Tuesdays after that Wednesday. That would be our pay period. And so every pay period we would accrue, well, I would accrue like 7.2 hours of vacation time and like 4.2 hours of sick time every pay period. And so when I started on with this company that I'm with now, that was one of the questions that I asked my manager in my first one-on-one. I was like, well, how much vacation time do we accrue every pay period? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, at my previous employer, I was gaining like 7.2 every pay period and 4.2 of sick time. He's like, well, we don't accrue um, sick time or vacation time. I said, what do you mean? He said, we have unlimited PTO. Blew me away. I never heard of it. And like I said, you had, because when I called you, I was ecstatic. You were like, yeah, I've heard of that. But I feel you. That is such an awesome thing. So to be fully remote and can work anywhere in the world as long as I make my organization aware and have unlimited PTO, 15 holidays, making way more money than what I was making before, and 15 weeks of parental leave if I need to. I mean, it
Wow,
just can't get any better than what it is.
that's
For me, it
beautiful.
was well worth the investment of everything that I did, if not more that I could have invested to make this even more worthwhile.
There we
Yeah.
go. I remember the days. I remember the days we would be in session sitting there meditating to music. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
And
I
not
sure do.
and a few weeks later, look at you. You land your role. Like, oh,
Yep.
it gets me so excited every time I hear you share your story. It
Yeah.
really does. It's to me is confirmation that this is needed because there is the knowing the knowledge, there is having the experience, but then there's actually getting the offer and knowing how to navigate the job market and the various nuances. And so I am super proud of you. I just want
Thank you.
to you. I know I say that to you all the time, but I'm just so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for persisting, for having the tough discussions with me and
Mhm.
trusting me enough to be vulnerable and open with me. I'm so grateful to you for coming to me in your highs and in your lows and knowing that I wasn't going to let you stay low. You were coming
Yeah.
back up with me. There was no other option, right?
Yeah,
Their option.
absolutely. And I'll tell you something that I'm so thankful to you for as well. Um, how about, like I said, I was with the local government for almost 17 years, a little bit over 16 years. And 12 out of those 16 years or 16 plus years, I was working in GRC and never knew that that's what I was doing. It wasn't until I got into Cybertribe that I was exposed to who I really was as a professional, or who I really am, I'm sorry, as a professional, and who I have been over the last 16 years or 12 years as a professional. I knew about governance, I knew about risk, I knew about compliance, but I had no idea that it was an actual space in this, cybersecurity or IT, industry. Had no idea, never heard of GRC. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I quickly called some of my former colleagues and coworkers and told them, like, man, we have no idea who we are. We are not these compliance, auditors or whatnot or coordinators. We are actually GRC professionals. And I had to explain to them and share with them what GRC was or is. And I'm thankful to you for that exposure.
It's refreshing, right?
It
Because
is.
even I myself had that experience having the background in software engineering. No idea until I started studying myself, and I was like, wow. And so
Mm.
that's the thing that people tend to realize when they join is, oh, I was working in trucking. Oh, I had my own hair salon. I had my own business, and not really realizing that their processes, their procedures that they have in place, their admin, the reason why they do certain things the way they do is to make sure that they keep their company compliant with
Right.
regulations. And so you were already doing it. We just had to help you tap into who you truly were,
Yeah.
identify it, put it on paper, and then have you articulate it well enough to get your job, which you did. Which you did. Let's go. Let's go, Thomas. And
Yeah.
so I guess my last question for you, right, is if there's anybody who is going through the challenge of trying to land a job offer. Maybe they've done a boot camp, maybe they've done a training, and they're just like, I'm not landing any offers. I'm putting in hundreds of applications, nothing. What piece of advice would you give to them?
You've tried all of that, but you have yet to try Tribe. Um, as
Mm,
I said, there is no amount of money or no amount of time that I would not invest all over again to get me where I am right now. And Tribe was absolutely a huge um, part of that. And this is not an upsell. This is not, something I'm saying just because we're doing this interview right now. This is something because I wholeheartedly know that without that intricate piece of the puzzle, there's no way that I would be where I am right now. There's no way that my sons would be as happy as they are right now.
mm,
And you know, you have to. It's very important that you surround yourself with the right individuals, not just individuals, but everybody in this community. I can assure you, everybody is on one accord, under one purpose, and under one great leader, and we are ever so thankful for. So join the community and you'll see what all the uproar is about. Trust me, it's well worth it.
Mm.